Phil, you're in your new place. I have rearranged my place, so it's a brand new look for everybody. You get to see the other side of my room. What you were seeing before was where the bookcase is now. But now all my cards are in my library card catalog there, and I am in the opposite side of the room where you used to see all the art, but I switched the art up over to here.
Dude, we gotta get the most ornate frame for that stasis art.
Yeah, it looks so good, man.
It looks so good. We got to get the biggest, most like opulent frame possible for that thing.
Well, we've also got our art that John the Tall did for the channel that he hand painted.
Dude, so once I get my situation, so as everybody can see, I'm no longer being held captive in the basement
Taliban
where,
bunker.
They allowed for my release. And so now I'm here with, there's a window next to me, which is crazy. And I'm going to get our artwork framed, and then it's going to be up behind me whichever wall ends up being my background.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, so, the reason why I have you here today, we don't have a podcast all the time.
Wow.
But no, the reason for the season, this episode, we've got those Excalibur events coming up, Phil, and each day of the Excalibur events, link below for that stuff. You can get a discount code. Zac or Phil is a discount code, and that will get you a discount on that. And it also shows them that they should support sorcery and that we're pushing people in that direction.
I want to just jump onto that real quick because that sounds like it's another use our code and get a whatever on whatever. For a lot of you might hear in a lot of different shows that are just like it's part of the run of the mill stuff. But the codes for the Excalibur events at this level are very much different in that using those codes will impact how many sorcery events we have, high level competitive sorcery events we have in the years to come, in the next 2 years. So it's really meaningful when you use it this time around.
And I'll be bluntly honest. They will be giving us some sort of a kickback for that. But that means that's events that we can go to and cover because of that kickback. This is if you can't support us on Patreon, totally understand, but this is if you were coming to these events anyhow, or you were thinking about coming to these events, that helps support the channel in and of itself as well, and it doesn't cost you anything. So there's that.
It's a big level up to use these codes for us to get to these events, but also so the events can continue to happen because they're in the mode right now. We talked about this on the previous episode where they're sculpting how their next couple of seasons are going to go, and we actively want Sorcery to be one of the mainstay games across the country in the U.S. Not that there's we know there's a hub for it here, there's a hub for it there. No, every single one, Sorcery is going to be a staple. There will be crossroads and stuff at them. Hopefully, that's the action that we can get with these codes. Yeah. So use them or use the other content creators that have their codes that are their names as well. Use those.
Or use them. That's totally fine too.
Any of them. The goal is for events. Yeah.
My chief concern: get your discount. Use somebody's code if you're going. If you have already done it, hit them up and be like, hey, I didn't realize it's. I wanted to make sure that someone whatever. You guys get it. You understand. You're smart people.
And if you like them more, if you like those content creators more, I'm going to cut Zac off again. If you like those content creators more than us, and you want to use their code instead, just tell us in the comments how much more you like them than us.
Yeah. Definitely let us know how much better they are than us.
Yeah, let us know.
But to that end, Phil, since there's going to be a day one event or a day two event technically, because they do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Saturday, there's an event, and on Sunday, there's an event, right?
2Ks.
2Ks. So 2K, for those of you who don't know what a 2K is, it means that the top 8, I believe it's the top 8, splits $2,000 in prizes. So first place gets 800 and then trickles down from there. Now, with that said, Phil, I thought it would be a great opportunity for you and I to take more than one deck. I'm obviously going to play my Enchantress deck for one of those 2 days, right? That's a no-brainer. I want to stake my claim with Enchantress. And I think, for sure, you will at least be playing Magician on one of those events.
I'm hard locked for Magician on one of those events, for sure.
Yeah. And so I thought about it, and I was like, you know what I want to do is take some untread territory and brew for either I'll probably brew the second day as opposed to the first day because I might be tired on the second day and I'm not playing as good as I possibly could. But I want to try and prove a point on the second day either way. And I decided that, Phil, I'm going to take my my new Animist build to sorcery. Now it might be this one or it might be one of the other ones. I've been kind of messing around with Animist. I'm trying to solve it right now. So we're gonna walk through one of the versions of Animist that I'm looking at, which I think has legs.
Zach, are we going to see an article on this for EternalDurtles.com?
You're gonna make me do more work, aren't you? Yeah. Why not? Well, I'll look into putting an article together, man. You know, I'm working on a documentary already.
You're working on a documentary. So how about this? You sign away the rights for me to write an article about your list.
For sure, I would love that. Yeah. That would be great. So let me share the deck. I'm gonna bring it up in the thing here. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield. They just dropped an advanced search engine for Sorcery: The Contested Realm. If you want to browse every available card or dig deep with powerful search filters, head over to sorcery.moxfield.com. You can even click on the search syntax button on the main page to see all the terms you can use. And don't worry, when new cards are revealed from official sources, Moxfield updates quickly. Now on to the show. There we go. All right, Phil. So we're looking at Mono Earth Animist. Now I'm experimenting with more than just Mono Earth right now. But Mono Earth is the one that seems like it has the most legs at this point in time. So I'm thinking about Mono Earth. I'm thinking about Mono Water Animist as well, in the same vein as Necromancer, and I'll talk about why I'm thinking Necromancer and Animist are similar. And then I looked at Mono Air, and I think Mono Air, maybe Fire Air might be the way to go with a third build, and possibly Mono Fire as a build as well. I don't think Air has everything you need to make Animist good, because there's just not a lot of like big spells, big casting cost spells in Air that
you
like
have Arcane
really
Barrage.
You have Arcane Barrage, and it is a spell that I included in that deck list, but it's not everything I want it to be. So I'm still going to experiment with Mono Air a little bit, but right now I'm working on the Mono Earth list, and I've kind of gotten it close to where I think that this would be, if not competitive, it would be like a tier 3 list. I think that it's this is a list that'll I think I could net a even win and loss record at this event, which to me would be a real leg up to show people that Animist is an avatar that does have some legs. So I'm going to talk about first, Phil, the Necromancer of it all, right? Like I had mentioned Necromancer, and well, before anything gets started, Phil, let's talk about what Animist is, right? Like there are people probably listening to us for the first time that have never looked at what Animist is or anything like that, because it's not one of the tier 1 decks, right? So Animist is a 20 life avatar with a 1 power. It has tap to play or draw a sight, right? And it also has, you may cast magics in your hand as spirits with power equal to their cost. Now, when you're doing that, you're not getting the spell's effect. It's just a minion that is a spirit. You don't get like an additional, this is also the cost of the spell. It just, you get a minion equal to the cost of the spell. So what does this mean, Phil?
It means that you could play Immortal Throne and then have
Get out of here with that.
And then you have so much modality to how you can put counters on it.
No, what it really means, Phil, is that I can include more magics than I normally would in a deck, and magics that have a more narrow purpose. You know, like perfect example is like Dispel or Exorcism in the main, right? Like those are great choices that are amazing in some circumstances, but in most circumstances they're going to be dead in your hand, and you don't want to ever be you don't want to be in a situation where the cards are dead in your hand. So Animist allows you to basically make it so that you can play these like unique one-ofs, not unique's a bad word to use, but these very situational one-ofs and two-ofs in your deck that might otherwise not be as good. If you weren't able to just be like, you know what, that card's dead, I'll make it a guy instead, and be able to attack with it, right?
Yeah. So I remember your initial Animist build that was Earth Water, and it was leaning on the combination of the backbone of Landmass and Overflow, as like we at the time threes, like 3 power was like the line of like what was playable for a minion and what wasn't if you were going to spend that amount of mana on something. Now I think you could argue that it dabbles up to 4. Like there's a lot of 4 power minions that are big, but at the time, like that was the goings on. And then we talked about the Return to Nature Common Sense package. And so tell me how you've evolved it from that. Why have you steered towards this going mono element?
Yeah, so, okay, so, when I was talking about the Necromancer part of this deck, right, what I'm really talking about is that I'm playing, like, Boulevard of Bones, Forlorn Keep, Humble Village, Rustic Village, Simple Village, right? Like, a lot of the sites in this deck are also ordinary, which is important to point out right now, but a lot of the sites in this deck are ordinary sites that make guys, right? And I think that there's something to be said about messing around with this build and determining which of these sites are worth playing and which aren't. Humble Village, Rustic Village, and Simple Village giving you 12 sites right there that basically say Necromancer for a turn, right? And then you've got Boulevard of Bones, which basically gets you a free skeleton every time you play something next to it. So this could be up to 3 skeletons by itself. And then Common Village, of course, is the other village. But all these things allow you to basically have the read of Animist also has Necromancer and get you a soldier every turn or get you a skeleton every turn, right? Like the idea here is that you're netting rectangles off of your site count, and you're able to use that as sort of like how Animist stays in the game when it's not an avatar that deals with card advantage per se, right?
Yeah, its card advantage is baked into its ability. So, if of course the natural follow up to the question of okay, this gives you a Necromancer-esque gameplay pattern, why then not just be Necromancer?
Yeah, well, why not be Necromancer? It's a great question. Well, Necromancer really can't play a lot of like cards that Necromancer. One, Necromancer is kind of tread ground, right? Like if we're doing this, we're trying to prove a point. We've got a chip on our shoulder. I could ask you, defensively, I could say, why would you play Magician when you can just play any other avatar? You have answers for that. That it has to do with card quality and stuff like that, and a smaller deck. For me, I want to prove that Animist, there's something there. There's something with this avatar that like can get over the line, right? Like the idea that I can play Cave In, and maybe I don't need to wrath the board, and I can make that a 4-mana minion, right? Or I could play Holy Nova and the same thing, or I could play Smite, and maybe I don't need to cast Smite right now. Maybe I just want a 4-power guy. Stone Rain, same thing, or like maybe you've already wiped the board in the Earthquake, right? Or maybe you're in a better situation with guards as a 6-mana 6/6 than you are as a few foot soldiers, right? So my idea here is that if we're doing that, and even Craterize, like I think it'd be rare where you would actually want to cast Craterize as a guy, but there might be times when like you can't get a good Craterize off or something like that, and you're just like, I'll just play an 8/8. Now you got to deal with that.
I do know there are positions when I was playing Archie where I had to draw a site when I didn't want to pay the additional cost for Craterize. So
of course,
it's not unusual to be like, oh well, Craterize is inopportune. It had the opportunity cost attached to it of not being able to play a site otherwise. Also, for the record here, I fully endorse the idea that like the rationale to play one avatar over another is because you want to like explore and prove that like an avatar that doesn't see like high percentage play is absolutely viable for the things that you believe in. I fully support that as like a totally reasonable argument and choice.
I mean, that's
as to
why
why
I
you
play
would do
Enchantress too. Like, let's be honest, right?
Like that there is no frowning upon that as the questions. All good there. I'm just curious as to like the inspiration of Necromancer using your a third of your site package or your atlas to essentially recreate Necromancer. Is there things in this list that we can point to that are taking advantage of those 1/1s in ways that are better or similar to Necromancer?
Yeah, well, specifically, let's get off the jump on the site base, right? So many of my sites are ordinary sites, right? We've got like 12, maybe we'll say 12 right now. I think it's just 12. So literally, like you said, about a third of my sites are are these ordinary sites that make guys. And I might even add more, because there's also like Open Mausoleum, I think, is the other one that makes skeletons. So I could even go up further, right? But then when you think about one of the most powerful cards in the game, Phil, is Atlantean Fate. Atlantean Fate does not affect ordinary sites, right? So if I get to a point where I am playing, I have a bunch of guys out, and they're all on my ordinary sites, and I'm doing stuff with those guys, and I can put myself into a situation where my opponent is liable to take a lot of damage on the next turn, but they can't wipe my board with like an Atlantean Fate, right?
Yeah, and that's specific because you have only Earth sites except for one, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
but
two technically.
The Atlantean Fate. I remember I played Atlantean Fate the last time I was at the local casting some spells, and the wording on Atlantean Fate came up where it says, all affects all non-ordinary sites for its first ability, and then it says submerge artifacts and creatures, right? Or minions. Submerge artifacts and minions at affected sites. And so I was like, wait, does the affected sites mean as the aura, or does the affected sites mean as the ability, the first ability? Like, is it referencing the first ability, or is it referencing itself?
Well, it floods all of that stuff, and then it submerges, right?
Right, but I'm saying if you have a non-ordinary site, if you have an ordinary site like Humble Village, it doesn't get flooded, and then it doesn't submerge anything there.
Exactly. You can't submerge a non-water site, right?
But if you had an ordinary water site, it would still submerge things.
Of course.
There.
Yeah. If you had a river, of course.
The of course. But I ran into like the awkward wording of Atlantean Fate where I wasn't sure if affected sites referred to the aura or if affected sites referred to the first ability.
No, yeah, it refers to to that ability.
Powerful wizardry.
Excalibur Events is hosting 2 Sorcery Contested Realm weekends you do not want to miss.
Pittsburgh on July 11th and 12th. Columbus on July 25th and 26th. Excalibur Events is running 2 $2,000 tournaments for players to show up, contest the realm, and prove why sorcery belongs on the big stage.
Use code Zac or code Phil in the link below at checkout to get a discount on entry and directly support our channel and the future of sorcery events.
Excalibur is also working with sorcery artists to put together something special for the winners if the turnout is high enough at these events.
You'll get to contest the realm with creators like Old Fashioned Nerds, Archives of the Realm, and you might even hear Lord of Itza yell, "Sorcerers!" live.
To expand the realm we love, show up, play hard, and let tournament organizers like Excalibur Events know sorcery should be supported year-round.
Back to the show. But, that's the first part, right? Like, we're getting a lot of guys, we're converting rectangles here, but then, and I've got a little bit of hate. We'll talk, let's just talk about the elephant in the room.
We can't.
Garden of Eden and Mismanaged Mortuary, right? Garden of Eden to stop decks that draw cards, right? And Mismanaged Mortuary to stop Archimago.
Rude. I mean, Mismanaged Mortuary, whatever, but Garden of Eden, rude.
Yeah. So because you are a card quality deck and not a card quantity deck, I think if you're not a card quantity deck, you need to be playing Garden of Eden, no matter what your site base is. I think you can afford to play this as a thing that just produces 0 threshold for you and does it. But it already produces a little bit of extra earth. I don't think there's any trouble in my deck making earth threshold. So that's not a problem.
I know, and you probably do have an answer for this because Animist does care about being able to pack a punch with its ability and certain mana values. But pray tell, why no Tithe?
I thought about Tithe, but I already jumped down to, I think 2 landmass is where you want to be. Now remember, with the previous build of this deck, it was water and earth. I was playing 4 landmass and 4 overflow to try and like ramp up to 4, right? I think I could hit 5 pretty reasonably on turn 4. And it just wasn't enough. It didn't matter. Like a lot, like if I drew a lot of those, like I just ended up turning them into guys. So for me, I just wanted to, I just thought like, I don't need a bunch of extra sites, really. The extra sites aren't doing that much for me. It's nice to have them. It's nice to like get an extra 1 guy, but like, I'm trading 1 card for 3 like 1/1s and border, like I could play Border Militia and do that if I wanted to do that. And I'm not even playing Border Militia main.
Also of note, you have 6 land masses in this deck, so that's pretty sweet.
6?
Yeah, dude, you can common sense for landmass.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I can do the same thing that I was doing in the other one, which is turn 2 common sense, turn 3 landmass, assuming I need to. Like, I think that in this particular version, landmass is a on turn 3 I played landmass and then I drew a card and then I played a humble village and I made a guy, right? Like, I think that is like the best situation. It's like what CJ was saying with what's called the early Necromancer deck where he was playing 2 Overflow, and he was like, you can just like turn 3 Overflow, turn 4, But he was also in a situation where a lot of his minions were like 5 and 6 cost minions. They were big minions, and they were impactful. Well, my minions are impactful too, but they're impactful because they're on rate very good minions, right? Like, if we look at our minions, right? I'm playing the Exorcist, of course. Now, this is the other thing, is in the previous build of this deck, I was playing a very small amount of minions. I think it's okay in this build that you want to play all the good minions from that color, like from that threshold, right? Play all the best minions of that element, right? And then play a bunch of great spells. And what happens is your opponent starts wasting removal on either the spells that you've made as guys or your good minions, and then you get to a point where you're always drawing live threats, and your opponent has hopefully run out of ways to remove threats, and you outcard them because every single draw you have is live to do damage to your opponent.
Yeah, that's the magic of Animist here. Tell me about the joy that is Lady Ísold with your magic getting destroyed.
I thought you'd never ask. Yeah, so Lady Ísold
is that how it's pronounced?
Because I'm going to go, yeah, it is Ísold. Silt. Lady Ísold. Anyhow, she's great because you can do really cool things like, oh, I'll play a Holy Nova on the board, right? And then next turn you drop your lady, you attack, and let's say you trade with your Holy Nova, right? It goes back into your hand, and maybe you cast it next turn as a spell. Same thing with like Craterize or Guards. Like, when she comes down, she basically says, like, now it's time to get card advantage by trading cards for cards, right? Like, you actually actively want your spirits that you made with Animist's ability to die so that you can get them back into your hand and gain massive amounts of value. You don't want to just like play Lady Ísold on like turn 2 or turn 3. You want to wait until you know that you can get a sick trade-off for it on your turn, right? Like, you want to be in a situation where your opponent has out like a stag and you're like, oh, cool. I will attack one of my what are they called? Soldiers into your stag to get rid of the ward, and I'll attack my Holy Nova, or I'll play my Lady Ísold and attack my Holy Nova into your stag. This goes back to my hand, like that. I think that's the best use of this card, and it makes to me, it's one of the most powerful cards in this deck, and the deck really doesn't work without this particular minion.
Yeah, it seems like it's the best card advantage spell you got in your deck outside of Queen of Midland.
Queen of Midland is another banger, yeah.
And Queen of Midland is really potent in these strategies that otherwise don't have any way to go up cards, which, is also a rationale for Tithe. Like, Tithe and Queen of Midland are, at odds to some extent, and that Queen of Midland wants you to keep deploying so that way you can stay underneath the amount of cards you have in your opponent's hand. Tell me, why choose the suite of minions that you did? Is it just bangers, or is there...
Yeah, these are all I think these are the highest impact minions in Earth. So, of course, I've got Toolbox and Rolling Boulder. Rolling Boulder is in here to support Lord of Greed, but Rolling Boulder is also just fine with your foot soldiers. Like,
I was gonna ask why no for velocity. I don't see any Gift of the Wolf with your bodies. I know that these are the questions that you get up, but I assume that these are the things that people are going to be thinking about.
As a one of in the collection, I think it's fine. Like, again, like, because I'm not playing the card advantage situation, I think Gift of the Wolf is fine, but it's there will be times when it just doesn't draw me a card. Like, it trades up for sure, but Gift of the Wolf is one of those cards where, like, I can't throw a bunch of draw cards in this deck and then assume that like I'm not going to ever get my Garden of Eden. So I'd rather have higher cost, more impactful spells that will trade when they become guys. So that's kind of what my thought was with not including for Gift of the Wolf in the main here. I did think about it. That was a certain, like, in every one of these builds, I will have to wrestle with the fact that, like, should I be playing Gift of the Wolf? Should I be playing Gift of the Serpent? Should I be playing Gift of, I forget the other ones. Boar, Crow, Gift of the Crow,
Gift of the
Raven.
Frog, bro. Gift of the
Frog. Thanks. That's what it is. Gift of the Frog.
I'm still so sad that Gift of the Frog isn't just summon a frog, draw a card. It's give an allied minion a frog.
Yeah, you gotta give an allied a frog.
Again, as a gift, it would be weird, but if it, the gift was just in a thing that existed as opposed to actually giving something to somebody.
Yeah, you still get to draw a card out of the way, but still. Anyhow, so then Autumn Unicorn on rate, one of the better creatures in the game, a 4 for 3. Order the White Wing. Allowing you to just a 3 mana ward creature is just good by itself, and the extra thing is like, this is fine. You need to be careful about this with your sights though.
Yeah, it's a number with that, but it's really powerful against the other strategies like Necromancer to stop them from doing their thing.
Necromancer, yeah.
When you were putting these together, like what was the rationale for 2 order instead of 3? You just want to hedge a little bit, that way you don't stymie yourself?
Adding some other cards to the deck was what it really came down to. Looking at, like, I was like, oh, Sister Stephania is a card I want in the deck. I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted 3 unicorns. I think 3 unicorns here is better than 3 White Wing. Again, because they sort of affect you too, I don't necessarily need to drop this on turn 3 and then like get punished because I don't have the ability to play a site where I want to play it, There's going to be very few times where this bothers you, but I don't want to be in a situation where I've got like 2 of them out and then I need to move them weird to like get something around. So I think 2 is the magic number there. Of course, Kettletop Leprechauns and the Exorcist in here as well. Then Gargantula, one of the most to me, one of the main reasons to play Earth at this point is Gargantula. I think this is one of the better cards in the in Earth, and this works, Phil, really, really good with Lady Ísold, because it doesn't say disable this if it dies. Like, that ability, like if you drag an adjacent minion and disable it, right, and then this dies, your opponent still has to get there and undisable their guy, right?
Right.
So
right,
if Lady Ísold is out and this dies, then you just get to do it again, right?
Yeah.
And you can get to a point where you're trading and disabling stuff, and suddenly they can't get back into the game because you're just stealing all of their stuff. So I really like this as a way to, like, again, the card quality that becomes card advantage, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here with Lady Ísold and using Animist in a way that makes it so that it's powerful enough to convert. Hey everybody, it would be both unique and exceptional if you joined us at patreon.com/eternaldurls under the Magicians tier to get all of our sorcery content.
By joining us, you help us pump out more elite content for you.
Now back to the show.
So if the minions are all chosen on rate, how much consideration do you give to your curve for magics in ways that your Animist can supplement your minion package? Like, is there any consideration to, I'm going to choose these magics because I can turn them into bodies, and that offers me a rate that I otherwise can't support in my minion suite?
Well, there's a tension there, right? Because you have to worry, you want big minions, right? And that means you have to play high mana cost spells. And to play high mana cost spells means you can't double spell, right? Like, so I can't play Gargantula and Holy Nova on the same turn, that sort of thing. So you really have to lean into the fact that, one, you're probably going to be getting as many sites out as you can because the sites have those abilities to get more guys. But you need to put yourself into a situation where, like, turn 4, if you turn 3 was landmass and make a dude, then turn 4 Gargantula and make a dude is maybe where you want to be, like, just so that you're a step ahead. The idea here is that you don't want to be wasting mana, so having the extra mana around to make a guy and knowing like, okay, like if I draw a site, I have about a 30% chance of drawing a soldier for 1 mana. So making sure that like you get these spots. That's why I try to keep the minions at their most efficient. Right, 4 for the Paladins of Baazia, 4 for the Pudge Butcher. Right, 5 for Archangel Michael, and that is like that's a lot for almost every other deck. But for this deck, you can hit that on turn 4, and Archangel Michael is a beast. Right, first $100 card from Gothic right now. Phil, did you know that?
I did not. I haven't kept up on card prices because I'm too
you
busy
just
trying
got
to.
one for free from me, so you didn't have to worry about it.
I appreciate that. I'm actually trying to figure out what my what the ideal 4-drop is for Magician. So my focus has been there and less on
sure,
on pricing. But yeah.
Then Queen of Midland, and then Lord of Greed. I really liked Lord of Greed when I played him in Limited, and I really like Lord of Greed a lot in an era where people are playing like toolbox and then leaving it there, or like silver bullet and leaving it there, and then he just like is such a combo with rolling boulder. You're just like, and I get my rolling boulder back and I throw it at you, and I get my rolling boulder back and I throw it at you. Like, to me, this that combo by itself is 100% juice worth the squeeze. And on top of the fact that I almost always have little minions that can just be like, I convert 4 damage this time, and then like I might even be able to put them in a situation where like I throw that and then kill a bunch of guys, and then can move my guys over to it to get it back. So to me, awesome.
I picture Lord of Greed with the Lord of Greed rolling boulder combo as Lord of Greed just like playing with a yo-yo.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we need to get an alt of like him with 4 yo-yos, right?
You mean 4 rolling boulders?
Yeah, but as yo-yos.
As yo-yos, yeah.
But anyhow, so then of course I'm playing toolbox, so we're looking at consecrated ground for the 2 consecrates. I think you only really like, there will be the occasional like problematic what's called site. So this is my concession to that. Playing 1 consecrated ground, 1 exorcism, 1 gift of the wolf, 1 unravel, just like exorcism. 1 border militia, 1 berry, 3 penitent knights for our forlorn keeps, and 1 rescue. Rescue, I think, is really, really sweet in this deck, because there's going to be times where your opponent gets rid of Lady Ísold, and then you're just like, I'll bring her back and get.
Yeah, the build around, like using Lady Ísold as a build around is tricky as a one of, but the fact that like you're playing all of these 1/1s off of your sites to sort of stall the game until that top end can take over is a pretty sweet plan. Is there any like things that, like, I'm looking at this deck and I am a total novice, I know nothing about anything. What is the thing that I'm going to look at and not see? Like, what is the thing that you've put in, that you've thought about, that's like, this is a very nuanced inclusion, and the rationale for it is this, and people who don't pilot the deck won't really know it until.
All right, Phil, you're gonna have to repeat that, because I didn't hear anything that you just said. What is the thing that?
What is the thing that, like, is there any like specific nuance that is put into this deck that I wouldn't be able to grok at just looking at it? That I would, when I play your list, I would go, oh, this is there for this play pattern. Like, is there any of that included, or is this a baseline list that you're now going to?
No, man, this is the smooth brain. Anyone can pick this deck up and understand how to play it. Like, all it comes down to is trade card for card, when you have to stop your opponent from drawing extra cards if you can, and eventually the quality of your cards should overtake the quality of your opponent's cards. You get extra rectangles by playing foot soldiers off of your sites. It's smooth brain stuff. I did, by the way, I am still thinking about possibly figuring out a way to add 4 Scourge zombies into the deck. I really like that card, and Harry from Moxfield showed me when his Geomancer build that's a very viable option. And Geomancer's been doing this for a while, by the way. I'm a Necromancer deck without the Necromancer, right? Like, so I think that if you're playing these the sites the way you should be playing them, you're going to get a lot of value. Now the question is, can I do that for fire? Can I do that for water? Can I do that for air? The problem with water is that the frog sites, they're O power guys. So like, I'm not getting the same kind of value out of them. They're for the most part just blockers.
You should check out how many sunken treasure they can find, though.
Yeah. Well, sure. The other thing is that I think somewhere in this build belongs some number of Torch Hammer trinkets as well. So that's something there's a little bit of tinkering here that needs to be figured out. But I will be playing some version of Animist at Excalibur Events. If you're going, by the way, comment below and let us know that you're going. I really want to see who's coming to this with us. I know that Zac from one of the big judges is going to be judging this event, and Josh Clark, aka Lord of Pizza, is going to be judging the Columbus event. So yeah, I'm hyped for some big fun tournaments that are like kind of sweaty competitive, that we can get a chance to play. Like, I can learn something from day one and switch decks, right? To me, that's the huge thing.
And I'm going to play Magician, and my second 2K deck is likely also to be Magician, because I don't know, I feel like the like Archie stuff is pretty straightforward, and get in the comments if you want to see me brew on a different avatar, and I'll do the same thing Zac is doing, and maybe we'll explore there.
Make Phil play Duplicator.
Yeah, make me figure out how to find second copies of things.
Yep.
All right. Make me play duplicator so I don't play in the event. I'm just at the vendor stand trying to figure out how I can make.
Yeah. You're like, hey, does anybody have an extra Archangel Michael?
How much was that, Michael, again? All right. Okay.
All right. Well, with that said, hey, if you're playing something different on day 2, let me know about it in the comments as well. Are you going to Excalibur Events Pittsburgh? We're definitely going to be there. We're thinking about how we're going to get to Columbus as well. Are you excited for these events? If you have a cool Animist build, please post it below. And I will be working on some other Animist builds as well. Maybe we'll talk about them in some coming episodes.
If you have an Animist build, send it over to me. I'll publish it on EternalDurdles.com and all those.
There you go. Yeah.
And
as always, you can support us at patreon.com/EternalDurdles. And of course, if you want to write anything, you can go to EternalDurdles.com, and there's a submit article button that will find you Phil immediately, and you can discuss how to do that with him there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the flip. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you get a moment, remember to like and subscribe to the video.
Also, don't forget to join us on Patreon at patreon.com/EternalDurdles in the Magician's tier.
Your support means a lot, and it helps us keep pumping out this content. Thanks so much.
Keep contesting the realm.